Mhm.
Where are you guys in Australia, is it?
We're in Bali at the
Oh
moment.
yeah, lovely. Oh, lovely, nice. Yeah,
We, we live in Australia, generally.
right.
But yeah, at the moment in Bali, we just did a Zentai Shiatsu immersion, which is a kind of body work that we're learning this year.
Wow.
And yeah, whereabouts are you?
I'm in Ireland, the west of Ireland.
Oh yeah, Ireland, cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
West of
Lovely.
Ireland.
Yeah,
How's your
yeah.
shaking going so far?
Um. Oh, it's it's going great. I did the third lesson on the beginners course this morning.
Amazing. Oh,
Yeah, and I love it because I was very disconnected from my body for a lot of my life. Do you know what I mean? And
mm,
I've never really practiced yoga much or anything. So yeah, it's just lovely to be. You know what it reminds me of? When I was a child, I used to. I got dentures in, and I'm listening. I need to take them out. Sorry, it's just easier to talk without them. Um, it reminds me of swimming in the sea when I was a kid. For some reason, I don't know. Sort of
mm,
reminds me of the being a mammal or something. But yeah, yeah. And yeah, I can still I finished it about an hour ago and I can still feel like pulsing in my on my legs and stuff.
mm.
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah.
It's
So
really, yeah.
and I like that, I like the way you say things like just to play with it and the way with some exercise things you're worried that you're not doing it right or something. I like the
Mm,
way it's kind of intuitive and um yeah, things like that.
cool.
So yeah, it just feels great. I think the first time I came across you was on Inside Time Room. When was that? About a month ago or something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, so I haven't been long at it. And I haven't done that many, but I really like it. I really like it, and I still can feel all pulsy now. Actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm glad you like it, and yeah, it's so cool we connected on Insight Timer. I plan on
yeah,
starting back on there again soon. That
yeah.
was really good.
Yeah, I'd say people on that app would love it.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And it really means a lot to me that you've gone through the whole beginner's course now. Like that's really cool, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love to see people like coming in and actually like taking the time to do it because that's really where the benefits happen and where you understand it from an experiential place. Yeah, it's really beautiful.
yeah, yeah. And you know what? I'm actually surprised at myself
Mhm.
that I'm continuing to do it because I start things but kind of give up easily on them a bit or something, I think. So yeah. I don't know. There's a lot. My life's quite tumultuous. There's a lot of change going on in my life at the moment and stuff. So I've been sort of, I guess everybody's stressed in a way, aren't they? So it's just lovely to. Yeah, I just feel really present, and at the end when you say to do the shavasana and stuff, I just feel very deeply relaxed, which is very not like me.
Mhm.
Mhm.
How
And I
beautiful.
cry. I cry a lot when I do it a bit and stuff, but I just let the tears come. I just whatever. Yeah.
It sounds like you're getting it so beautifully, and I love how you feel it's like swimming in the sea when you're a
Yeah.
child. That's so
Yeah.
cool. I love that
Thanks.
it's bringing the childness back because that's what it does is it makes us free like a child again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you talk of those baby arms, like I've had kids, they're adults now, but it's just a good sort of visual aid, because those funny little movements babies make when they're waking up and stuff with their arms and their hands and stuff. So yeah, it's been lovely. And the qigong thing, mind you, if I had actual bowls of water in my hand, I'm sure that it'd spill all over me. But it's kind of awkward to get it, isn't it? A bit. But as you said, it takes a bit of practice. So yeah. So yeah, I'm going to try and I'm sort of feel excited about it. And, I know trauma is a big word now. I mean, there's a lot of talk about trauma and everything. And I guess people have experienced trauma, and certainly I have as a woman and stuff. But so there's a little part of me that like, oh, do it all quickly, like to unravel it all quickly. But like, I'm just going to pace myself, and just a couple of sentences you said about, thriving as opposed to just managing in life, and yeah, just like wanting to feel good and stuff.
Mm.
So it's been
Slow
really
and
nice.
steady wins the
It's been
race.
really nice. What?
Slow and steady wins the race with this
Right.
like
Yeah.
sustainable,
Less is
shorter
more
layer
kind of.
at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I'm curious, Claire, do you find
yeah.
yourself in the day now that you've gone through the beginner's course, like do you
Yeah.
find the shaking is almost invited into your day, just
Yeah. Absolutely.
spontaneously?
Yeah. A little bit, actually. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm sort of, well, it's windy here, and I was just looking out my back garden, and was just seeing, like, I was just even, of course, the leaves are going to shake in the wind, but I'm sort of more aware of shaking now. And I'm watching my animal. Like, I've seen my dog jerk and tremor, like, as
Yeah.
well. And yeah, things like that. So, and it just sort of makes sense about it. Well, a couple of times, like, when I was younger, I had like sexual trauma, and my body went into like a big whole body shakes afterwards. And I didn't know what. Well, I just knew it was. I just thought it was. Well, it probably was fear, but I was sort of ashamed of it. I was like embarrassed by it, and I was, But yeah. So this is just lovely and gentle, and as you say, you can stop. Turn it off, and
Mm.
the analogy of the radio and all that. So
Well, there's that experience back then when your body
yeah,
spontaneously shook. That
yeah,
was your body trying to shake off the trauma right away. So I'd
yeah,
like to acknowledge that, and in our culture, most of us don't know what that is. So of course we think it's wrong or bad, and we try to stop it. But
yeah,
yeah, and it's like a thing is with like these charges and stuck emotions that get trapped in us from these events. It's
yeah,
to the subconscious mind and the nervous system. It's as though it's still happening in a way. Like this part of us doesn't really know time. It's more our logical thinking mind that thinks, oh, that was so long ago, it shouldn't be
yeah.
affected anymore. But the
It does
nervous
actually.
system,
Yeah,
it's like there's no time isn't really a thing. So it's as though it's still happening until we discharge it through the shaking.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you don't, it's not really about getting to the bottom of the trauma. Sure, it's not. It's just about sort of knowing that it lives in your body, and like with a practice like yours, you're sort of slowly unraveling it, but you don't really have to go back into the stories of why or when or whatever. Is it? Would you agree with
Yeah.
that? Well,
Pretty much, yeah. I'd
yeah,
say we can discharge it without the story.
yeah,
Sometimes the story comes through, and if it does, it's we witness it and we shake out the story too. And if we need to
right,
talk to someone, we talk to someone. But we can do a
yeah,
lot of it with just the body, without
yeah,
the needing to go into the logical thinking mind so much, which a
yeah,
lot of times is what creates the problem, at least a big part of it, because it's that human part of us that I think that gets things stuck and doesn't allow our instinctive nature to just shake it out. It's the thinking
yeah,
mind that's, oh, that's weird. Let me stop it. But
yeah,
animals don't do that, right?
right, yeah.
They don't have
No,
that. Mhm.
But also with when the story is present, there, and you're shaking through it, the story is probably always going to be there, but maybe not the charge of the story. So maybe
right,
the acceptance of that thing happened, or I had this experience, but no longer am I carrying it with me in my
yeah.
body.
The charge, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's good. Yeah, that's great to know.
We learn the lessons, and we grow wiser from our experiences. But yeah, ultimately we don't want to be holding the emotional charge, because that keeps us out of the present moment. That keeps
Yeah,
us in reaction instead of action, and things like this.
yeah. Well, you know that. Well, you know, I've had that like shaking response a few times in my life in like scary situations. But what that one I'm thinking of, that I'm telling you about, it's funny because it was the night that my son was conceived, and yeah, it was the night my son was conceived, and I was like about 30, and I'd known his father like from when I was a teenager or whatever. Um, and then I went into this mad shaking thing, but uh, you know, and my son is a lovely young man now and everything, and his father's since died, but his father was like turned out to be very you know, abusive, like violent man. So it was like my body knew that before my head knew that or something, you know. That's
Mm,
how I see it. That's how I see it now anyway, because yeah, he was a very dangerous person basically, you know. So
mm,
yeah. But yeah, I love it. And you know, watching you, like I watched a couple of your videos on YouTube, and it's just sort of mesmerizing. And you're talking over them. You're giving a voiceover over it.
but yeah,
It's
yeah.
just sort of mesmerizing to watch a human being do that. You know, I just find it mesmerizing.
Mm. Oh, I
Yeah,
think it's that inspires me
yeah,
to make more videos like that one. It's been a
yeah,
while, and yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, our nervous system's really intelligent. Like that sense, that intuition you just shared is, yeah,
yeah,
that's we have an intuitive intelligence that can sense things like this, like with no thinking. It's just we just know in the heart
yeah,
space, in the
yeah.
heart wisdom.
Yeah, I'm trying to be less up, you know, I'm trying to be less up in my, you know, I'm conscious that I'm very up in my head, and, you know, when I'm feeling emotions, I try and think my way out of them, you know. I'm very in my head sort of person, like I intellectualize them, you know, so I'm
Mm.
trying to be more in my body and heart space now, you know.
The journey will naturally do that more and more. Like the more you shake, the more basically you're tuning into your
Yeah,
instinctive, intuitive
yeah,
intelligences, and as those grow, the mind will lessen and lessen, and
yeah,
it'll just be a natural, yeah, kind of side effect of doing it more. Yeah.
yeah. So it's great. I'm really pleased, you know. I've taken ayahuasca a couple of times, you know, like over a 7 year period, and like here in Ireland. And I was like, oh my God, this is the answer to all my problems or whatever, you know, and like I loved it. But the last time I went, oh, it just brought me straight back into like my early child, like pre-verbal sort of early childhood, and like to do with like Northern Ireland troubles, you know, like the Catholics and Protestants and all that stuff. But I just found it hard to integrate afterwards, you know. I just found
Mm.
it, yeah. I didn't know what to do with, yeah. I didn't know what to do with what I saw, you know, and yeah. And it was more like words as opposed to images. I got scared to look, and yeah. So I know it. I know that is a lovely medicine too, but I'm not sure about it for me. Like because I think it brings up stuff. It bubbles up to right under your consciousness. So, but I don't know. I just found it hard to. I was just felt left alone with it then, or something, you know. So, and then a couple of weeks after that, I found you on Insight Timer, and this just feels more just righter for me, or something.
Mm. I hear
So,
you on that. Yeah.
yeah. Even though like the ayahuasca was a blessing, you know, you know, like the first time I took it, it sort of I had this image of me being wrapped around the earth, and it sort of gave me a sense of belonging that I didn't really have before and stuff. But yeah, just the last one was very intense, and yeah, like I said, I didn't know how to integrate it really. So
Mm.
Yeah, it's so important to have the support that you need afterwards, as well as
Yeah, yeah,
to have someone to speak to
yeah,
when you go through those things and not feel so alone in it.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, and then I wondered, like, was I picking up stuff from other people's in the room? And, I don't know. And that's another thing, just trying to think my way through it and stuff. But, I guess trust your feelings, isn't it, really? Trust your feelings. But I just, this is lovely and gentle and intuitive. And yeah, like I said, I do, for years, I felt really like, especially when I was younger, like I just lived from my neck up, I was very detached from my body. Like, so this has been great.
I'm curious, after you do a class,
Yeah.
how do you feel? Do you feel like you're in your mind, or do you feel more in your body afterwards?
No, I feel more in my body, and like I have a lot going on, and in my life at the moment there's a lot of change, and I've been like weepy and stuff. And so when I do the shaking medicine, I feel a lot more present and less up in my head, and more grounded and stuff. And yeah.
Mhm.
How long
Yeah.
does that last for you right now?
Well,
How
well,
about
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, like if I was if I was like woke up and was like, oh God, I don't today. When you have funny thoughts before you even like fully awake, and you're, you know what I mean. And then I'm like, oh God, I don't feel great today or something. And then I would do that practice, and it would just make me feel better, really, for the day, I guess. For the
Mm.
day. So
Amazing.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So I reckon, you know the way when people go to the gym and stuff, they say you should have a day off and all. Would you suggest that for or just a bit gentle bit every day? I'd say is okay, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'd say in general, like a gentle practice every day is fine.
Yeah.
It really depends on you. Like some people can do a full class every day and be fine. Some people might need to do like a couple days and then have a day or two off. Some might need to do every other day, every 3 days. It depends on. I like to like say that come do the next class when you feel you've integrated the last one. And
Right.
for most people, 24 hours is enough time.
Yeah.
Some people might want another day or two to like let the dust settle, kind of
Yeah.
from what
Right.
got stirred up in the last class. And it
Yeah.
can change as well. Like maybe now you feel like you can do one every day, but next week maybe suddenly like you dig up a charge that needs a couple days to integrate. So it's like really start honoring that and trusting your feelings. And even in
Yeah.
the middle of the class,
Yeah.
if you're like, whoa, I feel like I've had enough shaking, even if you're not done with the class, like you can honor that and rest for the rest of the class. Or
Yeah. You say
also,
that. Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
kind of like, yeah, it's important to start really as well feeling into you yourself and what feels good for you. And if you're
Yeah.
not sure, less is more. Like do less.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
wouldn't, especially in the more early beginner stages, like
Right.
do
Yeah.
less and slowly build a relationship with it. And then you'll slowly be able to know
Yeah.
what your limits are better and better.
Yeah.
And yeah, be gentle at first. Be
Yeah. Be
gentle.
gentle. Yeah. Yeah. And because I did, like I've dithered around with meditation on and off for years, so I did sort of manage to get a daily meditation practice going. But if I'm honest, it was a bit like sitting there and sort of waiting for the timer to go off. You know what I mean? A bit.
Meditation is hard in a body
Yeah.
that's charged and maybe traumatized. And
Yeah.
I highly recommend like we reach a state of like kind of animalistic homeostasis through this kind of work before
Yeah.
attempting to meditate like a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I try to just, when I'm doing your practice, sort of make that meditative, and then at the end, when you say just relax, to integrate and like, yeah, just witness your feelings or body sensations.
Yeah.
And then if I did say meditate for 10 minutes after, I do feel more like I'm actually meditating instead of just sitting there waiting for the timer, to
Yeah,
go.
often people say after shaking medicine after a class, they've never felt so relaxed in their life, or they've
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
felt so meditative, because actually the next natural state is a state of spontaneous meditation. And so it's
Yeah.
once the charge is clear in the emotional body, it's like deep stillness in the mind. It just kind of spontaneously happens in a way, just like the tremor spontaneously happens. The mind spontaneously becomes soft and clear and empty and relaxed. And so I reckon that's part of what you're feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The body and mind. Yeah.
I love
So,
it. I love it. It's
oh,
great.
it's been lovely. Yeah. I just feel a bit blessed or something to have happened upon it. And yeah. And I don't know. I just like the sort of relaxed vibe about it or something, like there's no right or wrongs, as you say, and to trust your own body and to, stop here if you feel like stopping. And, I like all that. And
Thank you.
yeah. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you. This is totally off topic. What about your dogs? Your lovely dogs that were on the deck?
My
Is somebody
dogs on the
minding that? Could they come over to Indonesia with you, or no?
No, they're still there in Louisiana at my
Oh,
parents'. That was at
it's Louisiana, is it? Wow, right.
at
Wow.
my family home, and
Wow.
they're all still there hanging out on the deck and shaking.
Oh, lovely, right. So there'd been alligators and stuff in that water, in that green water.
Well,
Could there
could
be?
be, but no, we've never seen alligators
Oh,
there.
okay. All right. Yeah.
They're further away.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah.
Mhm.
Does anyone else? Do you have any questions?
I actually have a question.
Yeah.
And I'm for people that are maybe unsure of when they're ready to do another class. Are there any signs or signals to say that maybe it's time for rest versus you're ready for another class? Is there any signs that would say to maybe take a day off?
Yeah.
Other than intuition?
Great question. The signs, I think it's the sense of like fragility is part of it. Like if we're feeling fragile or overwhelmed, or like we're feeling more excited or anxious, like an energy really surface, and we're like, and we need to ground that and integrate that, or something gets stirred up. It's like we kind of need to let that settle, maybe rest or give it a day or two. And then when we feel more in our natural kind of grounded state again, that would be a sign of coming back into it. It's an interesting question because it can be so different for everyone. But yeah, it's
I did notice a couple of days ago when I did it, and I wondered, was it to do with the shaking medicine, or was it just me, life or something, that I was being sort of a bit irritable or something. And then I wondered, was that just something that was sort of moving through me because of the shaking medicine, And yeah, I just found myself sort of snappy or something for a couple of days, and then I was like, oh, there, maybe you're just being a snappy, maybe you're just being snappy, or maybe it's because you haven't allowed yourself to be like that or something. You know what I mean? Like you're going around being polite or whatever, and maybe it's just coming up a bit.
It actually could be, because what happens when we're doing shaking medicine is that we're actually unraveling the stuff that's stored within us, and sometimes
Yeah.
often we need to feel them to heal them. So what can happen is things in this deep in the subconscious and the tissues, the trapped emotions and stuff, they suddenly unfreeze, unstick, and start to bubble to the surface. And so we
Yeah.
might suddenly feel like a tension we weren't feeling before, because of a tension that was numb all of a sudden starts to shake free. And so in that process we feel it. And in
Right. Yeah.
a way, an emotional energy is much like a physical tension. In a way, it's a energy that bubbles up and we start to feel it. So we might feel sadness or grief or anger, or it can even be like fits of joy and laughter, because we can suppress our laughter and our joy too.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And then when that comes up, it's like, we want to, like, ideally, like, allow it to express with the shaking, like make the
Yeah.
noises that sometimes it might
Yeah.
be growling animal sounds, or tears of weeping, or tears of joy, or
Yeah. I have cried a lot, and I do sort of try and make sounds. Well, not try. I do make sounds as you suggest, and like sometimes I just do it and then other sounds might just come out a bit more spontaneously. But then my dog is. I'm thinking my dog's looking at me, and her ears go up, and she's like,
mm,
I make these strange sounds. But it's fine. I'm in the house on my own at the moment, so like it's not like I have to worry about people hearing
sometimes
me
I
making
find
animalistic sounds or anything.
sometimes I find my animals and my pets will actually come and shake with me.
Right, lovely.
I've
Yeah.
had cats do it, dogs do it, even had horses do it, and
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
it's an amazing feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've got a rescue cat, so I've only had her here, so she's quite like not trust a bit still, not trusting of people, and she sits on the mat and just watches me when I do it, and that's a progress for her, or me and the cat's relationship, because she's a very jumpy kind of cat. Like she had a bad kittenhood or whatever. She was found on the streets, half starved. So I took her in. So yeah, she loves watching me do it. So I think
Oh,
that's a good sign as well. I take it as a good sign anyway.
Maybe she'll join you soon.
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe. Yeah, yeah. Well, it'll have a ripple out effect on her. Yeah. So
Well, thanks so much for joining.
yeah, thank you, Keith and Alicia. Is it
Alicia,
Alicia? Alicia,
Yeah.
and are you from America as well, Alicia?
I'm from the States, yeah.
Yeah, right. Wow,
And my nan's from Ireland.
Your granny is your nan.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh wow, what part of Ireland is she from?
Up north. I can't remember that. I was trying
Oh
to
right,
remember
up
the
in the,
name.
right, nice.
Yeah.
Armagh or Antrim or somewhere. Yeah, lovely.
Patricia Toner.
Right. Oh yeah, lovely Irish name. My mother's called Patricia as well.
Mhm.
Toner's a very Irish surname. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
It's a
And
joy
my
to
son
hear
is
your
actually in
accent.
Nashville. What?
It's a joy to hear your accent.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, yeah. Does your nan have a bit of an Irish accent still, or?
Oh, very heavy still. And
Oh, does she?
fat
Wow.
as well.
Wow. And she likes America, does she?
Yeah, she came over to New York when she was maybe 20.
Wow. Yeah.
And then brought her sister over after.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I know there's nearly every Irish family has somebody that's gone to America,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And New York's full of a beautiful Irish community.
Right. Yeah. I was in New York a couple of times actually years ago getting a thing called the Morrison visa, which was like an amnesty they were giving to Irish people.
Mm.
So I had to go over to New York to get it and stuff, but I didn't end up living there, I chickened out. Anyway, I love Ireland anyway, but I sort of chickened out at the end. So anyway, yeah.
Well, hey, thank
So
you all
nice
so
to talk to you both. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for joining, and I'd love to continue to support y'all's shaking journey. So let me know anytime if y'all
Thanks.
have any questions, or anyone watching this Q&A back. And yeah.
Oh right, this is recorded, is it? Me taking out my dentures, not to worry. And I downloaded the school app, so it's easier to
Awesome.
navigate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for
All
being
right.
a part of that and participating. I
Thanks.
love it.
Thank
Have
you
a
so
good
much.
Thanks,
Lovely to meet you.
Bye, Clay.
Bye. Thanks so much. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye. How do I turn this off?